Skill to Lightmare here. Um, we're gonna go over a couple of things. Got this word here, man. So um, the purpose of your life. Listen, a couple of things, just because some of this is very simplistic, but sometimes we can complicate it a lot. So one of the things I want to let you know is that favor is the key component to your existence. And I mean that like literally. The reason you still can take a breath right now is because of favor, God's favor. Why haven't you been bit by a spider and died? Why haven't you choked on your spit and died? Why haven't you died in your sleep? Why haven't you died in a car accident? Why haven't you had an aneurysm? Why haven't you had a deadly anxiety attack? Um, all these things that can take you instantly, blood clot, a stroke, seizure, all these things that can just take you, but you continually are able to, that there is a very blatant picture and testimony that you have favor from God. What is favor? Favor protects you. Favor is protection, and favor is the ability to continue. So it's like perpetuation. So one of the best examples of favor is in the book of Genesis. You have Noah, a figure by the name of Noah, I believe Lamech's son in the Bible, in the book of Genesis. He had been given favor by God. And so with the favor that he was given, it allowed him to have protection in the ark. The ark was the protecting mechanism. It was the box. It was what he was able to dwell in. And as he dwelled in that protection, it perpetuated him and his family. Him and his family were able to continue. And so that's the key factor on, again, why, first of all, why you're even still alive. We're going to get to the purpose of you being alive and your like your life. But firstly, we just have to establish that it's favor sustaining you, your every breath. It's favor flowing through your veins. But the reason you don't have a blood clot or aneurysm or a vein bust and you die, the favor's going through your veins, the favor's going through your lungs right now. There's a reason why you can breathe and why you don't have any kind of lung blockage or things like that. So these are things that you have to be able to understand on why you're even alive. What's up, Tandon? Thank you, appreciate that. But yeah, and stay tuned, hit the like button, follow all that. Um, I see you. Thank you, Tandon. Amen. But I appreciate you tuning in. But yeah, so the thing is understanding why you exist, because you have an enemy, you have the devil that wants to convince you that you're walking around for no reason, that you just came to be on accident by chance through, your father fell and tripped on your mother, and voila, I don't know. All these different things that would get you to unalive yourself or things like that. So understanding that favor, like, emphatically always emphasizes protection and safety. And then the protection and safety is so you can continue. So even if you look here, just to give you an example, this is my logo here, Favorite Society, and right here. So when you look at these two letters right here, the this and this, wait, this and this, my bad, I got that all twisted up. This and this, These two words are the letters for favor in Hebrew, which is the het for the ha sound, and then the noon for the na sound. So you have ha na. So, for instance, someone that is named Hannah would Google the word or the name Hannah. It means favor or grace. And so the thing is, these are pictures. And so the het is a picture of a fence. You can visibly see with your eyes. That's a picture of a fence. It means protected, enclosed, or safety, or separated. This next one is a noon. It's like a little zigzag, and that's like it's a picture of a sprouting seed stem, and so it's showing that it's going to continue. Life will continue. So the actual Hebrew pictorial definition of favor is that you have protection, and the protection is going to continue so that you can continue, so you won't be ended. So again, when I use Noah, when him and his family got in the ark, they were able to continue, and then other people weren't. So they drowned in the flood. Is what it is. They didn't listen. God knew they weren't going to listen anyways. That's why he just told Noah. Now, so we just established that favor is sustaining you. Now that we know that, why is it sustaining you? So, of course, we know that you were purposely and intently made by God. So, what does that mean? That means this whole world was going and existing. Governments, schools, laws, people, businesses, roads, economies, countries, continents, all these things were functioning before you got here, just going already. And God looked around like, something's missing. Now that literally was you, like literally, like not like some motivational speech. It sounds good type of, oh, that was you, like literally. Because if God does not want to have something happen, he has all power to stop it. So he's definitely in control of all things. So the reason why I tell you that God purposely made you is because the root word of purposely, you have a purpose. So now, when you look at things like, say, for instance, somebody puts a cake in the oven, it's going to be usually for an occasion, a wedding, a baby shower, a graduation, a bachelor party, who knows? But it's for an occasion usually. So that cake has a purpose before it was started, before it hit the oven, it already had a purpose. Now, with that in mind, a cake inside the oven can't just make up its own purpose. So I'm saying that to say that purpose cannot come from self. You cannot decide why you exist or what your purpose is or what your life's purpose is. It's predestined 100%. Your knowledge of what that is where you have to connect dots, And so these are things that you want to like really crack at, really seek and dig diligently for, because you need to know why you exist. That's very important, So now, knowing that you were intently and purposely made, that means you have a purpose. Check this out. Purpose is more so like why you would be used. Now, if God made you, you're going to be used. So, let's backtrack a bit to show you something if you didn't know this. So you have this the biggest war in the history of ever is between what? Good and evil. That's the biggest war, good and evil, very basic. What does good mean? Good literally just means functional. That's all it means. It doesn't mean all polished or all these things we make good mean. You know, when you say, hey, what's a good person, or that's a good car, that's a good washing machine. It's a functional washing machine. It's a functional car. It literally means functional. So guess what evil means? Dysfunctional. And so um I don't have a podcast yet, Tandon, but I may. I have a website. I got a bunch of stuff. You know, I'm online quite a bit. You know, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Skill the Lightmare on everything. You can search me, and I have my website for my organization where I'm breaking down these things. It's called Favorite Society. So you go to favoritesociety.com, and there's content there as well, but also on my YouTube channel. But so you have good and evil. And so, of course, evil means dysfunction. Good means functional. Evil means dysfunctional. That's all it means. It doesn't mean long black nails and wicked makeup and spells and witches and vampires and all that. That's not what evil means. Evil simply means dysfunctional or a violation of purpose. That means when there's a purpose for something and you deviate from it, that's evil. So if you have a car, you know, and you just, or your friend's car, and you just, instead of putting gas in it, you put pancake syrup in the tank. That's not the purpose for that gas tank, to hold pancake syrup. That was evil for you to violate the purpose of that gas tank. When we look at children, we're supposed to teach them and grow them and pour into them. When you take from them and misuse them, that's evil because it violates your purpose to the child. So just to put evil and good in context, that's why you need to know what good is, because it's functional. So then relate back to your purpose, the topic and title of this video. You need to function according to your purpose. So now that you know that if you are functional, that is a good thing. Now, you can only be deemed good if you know your purpose. So back to a washing machine or a car. How will someone know if a car is good? If they test it out and it functions. If it dysfunctions, it's evil. If it does function, it's good, because the purpose of the car is to transport you. So if someone can get in a car and it drives and it does its purpose, people will examine how well it transports you, and then it's okay, this functions good. It's functional, good car. So in your life, you need to know your purpose, because you need to function according to your purpose to be labeled as good, or else you may be labeled as evil or bad, dysfunctional. Hey, if God made you an intercessor or a speaker for people and you don't do it well, people can say, oh, you're a bad speaker. You're not a good one. And if it's your purpose to be a speaker, you're not fulfilling your purpose. But at least you would know it. The same way you have like check engine lights on the car. It tells you, hey, you know what? You are you got so long, you know, hey, there's lights on, your engine or something in your vehicle is not functioning properly according to its purpose. So, you know, you see, I'm taking a long route on kind of going into the title of this video, you know, what is your life's purpose? But so now that the first thing we establish is this, favor is the key component to your life, because favor sustains life. It allows it to and protects it so it can continue. So favor on your life is the first thing to know. And then once you know you have that favor, is what you do with it. Now, one of the key things you do with favor is use it to your advantage, because another synonym for favor is advantaged, because you're protected and you will continue. That's an advantage because there's things that are not protected and they die. You protected and will live. A literal synonym for favored is advantaged. So when you understand your purpose, hey, my purpose is to be a, you know, a mechanic. But like God blessed me to be a mechanic, like not just a car mechanic, not me personally, I'm just using an example, but like a mechanic on, you know, different types of mechanisms, vehicles, trucks, um, AC units, heaters, forklifts, just all these things, cranes. Like I'm just a mechanic in general. And that's my purpose. So then when there's an opportunity, because problems are not problems or opportunities. So say someone has a problem, something breaks down and they need a mechanic. They have a problem, they just have an opportunity to see something. So I'm getting there. Remember that there's an opportunity to see something. Now, that's also an opportunity for me to use my gift, to use my purpose. And my purpose is wrapped up in favor. So as my favor to continue gets me over to this person to use my mechanic skills on their whatever broke down, let's just say their car broke down. It's in my shop. They found me on the internet. And then I use what God gave me, my intellect and my creativeness and the way he allows me to be a mechanic uniquely from another mechanic. I use my gift. It's something that the whole town told them that can't be fixed, right? And so I fix it. I use myself that's being kept alive and continuing by favor. And I get over to their situation with my self that God's preserving to their opportunity, not problem. And I put myself in there with what God gave me. I use it. I function according to my purpose in that situation. Boom, their situation's fixed. What's their first usual question? They're like, how? Yo, how'd you do that? The whole city told me I could not get this fixed. I had to get another car. How did you do this? What's the answer? Remember, I said earlier, there's an opportunity to see something. So when this person sees this favor bestowed on their situation, where now they can continue, their car was broke down and now it's operable. So now they can continue. So they experience favor. And so when their car is now operable and no one else could fix it, and they look at me and they say, how? What's that an opportunity for me to do? What's the answer? God. Your purpose is to glorify God through various situations he puts you in, as according to your purpose he made you for, which is why you need to constantly and often be fasting and praying, being before his face and in his presence, allowing him to pour into you your instructions and your the way he designed you. Let him break it down to you directly, the same way he did Moses. He told Moses face to face, hey, I'm gonna use you for this and that. You're gonna do this and this with the people. If they say this, you say that. If they go here, you go there. Like you got to commune with God. And when you commune with him, he will tell you why he made you. Then you will have your purpose. And then once you know your purpose is tested. And so when you start being tested by circumstances, because circumstances are used to prove whether or not you are who you said or thought you were before the circumstance happened. That's why circumstances happen. So circumstances are going to examine your purpose and your functionality of your purpose. Because again, if you're just tuning in, we have the two words good and evil. Good means functional, evil means dysfunctional. So you by when circumstances arise, it's going to show whether or not you function according to your purpose. So whether or not you're a good person based on why God made you, because we do not all have like the same means of our purpose. You know, somebody may be a cook, somebody may be a fireman, somebody may be a teacher, somebody may be a judge, you know, different functions, one body. So the thing is, your functionality will be tested through circumstances. Just like when they test cars before they release them, they put them on a bunch of bumps and stuff and test the shocks and suspension to see how it functions. And then once it passes the test, they're like, it functions well, which means it's a good car. And then it gets released to someone or bought by someone, and they want it so they can transport themselves. And then when they take that first trip, and then that car gets them from where they got in the car at to where they got out of the car at. And they're like, wow, that was great. Good car. So you need to know your purpose, because you have to know where you're going in life, why you're going where you're going, why you're meeting people, what job or career you're supposed to be in, what kind of a parent you're supposed to be, what kind of a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandfather, grandmother you're supposed to be. And you knowing your purpose allows you to know how to function, you know. So look, a tree, take a tree, for example. If you go up to a tree and try to use, my bad, but if you go up to a tree and try to use different standards of functionality on the tree and try to judge it by it, you're going to just be looking ignorant. If you go up to a tree and be like, hey, bro, my mom's on the phone here, talk to her. And the tree just ignores you. It doesn't put its hand out to grab the phone to talk to your mom because it can't talk and it doesn't have arms. It's not supposed to talk on the phone. So it does not do that. And it's okay with not doing it. It's very confident in its treehood. I am a tree. I don't do those things. I don't tamper with those kinds of activities. So you see, when you know your purpose as a child of God, you don't even get swayed by other standards of this world or society. When somebody's like, hey, your car is not like this, or your house is not like that, your hair is not like this, you don't got this or that, like, that has nothing to do with me. The same way a tree does not start crying because it sees fishes swim and it can't swim. It's not supposed to. It knows it's not supposed to. It's very confident in its treehood and its tree abilities to grow as tall as it can towards the sun, produce oxygen and fruit and leaves, and be a hotel for birds and wildlife. You know, it's very confident in its abilities. Now, can a fish be a house for birds and chipmunks and, produce fruit and things like that? No. Fish has its function, a tree has its function. So you see, and they have to be confident. So if you judge a fish by how well it can climb a tree, compared to a monkey, like, it's not even fair because it can't do it. But if the fish is like, well, hey, put us in the water, I'll show you what I can do. zoom, 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 zoom. You know, that fish is a bad mama jamma in the water. So that's why purpose is very important, because that's why people have anxiety, depression, hopelessness, fear, and all these things, is because they do not know their purpose to function according to it. And so you're still being, because the thing is, you still act and do deeds. That's why your deeds and functionality should be according to your purpose, because if it's not, you're still going to do them regardless. It's just going to be you're getting judged by a bunch of different standards that you allow. So you're going to get told, oh, you're not a good swimmer, you're not a good cook, and you're not, and like you may not, your purpose is not to be a good cook. It's not to swim. It's to be a like literally like a stellar, like state of the art babysitter. Like literally, like people will pay you $1,000 an hour for you specifically to watch their kids because of a certain gift or characteristic you have, and that's your purpose, and you just ain't got to it yet. So you're getting judged by how well you clean, and you're getting judged by how well you swim, and all these things, and you're like, y'all don't do nothing right, and now you're so depressed because you're not walking in your purpose, and you're allowing other standards um, that are put upon you to actually affect you. When if you knew what your purpose was, it wouldn't bother you. And anybody putting those purposes on you, if you were confident enough, they'd feel dumb. Like if I sit and just yell at a spatula and tell it, "Hey, do the moonwalk," and I'm just like, dude, something's wrong with me. That's not the purpose of a spatula to moonwalk. It's not alive. It can't move. And so it should be like that when people are coming at you with things and standards and expectations outside of your purpose. But you allow it when you don't know your purpose. And now you're somewhere depressed and fed up with work, and you don't fit in with your family. You're failing as a husband or as a wife because you're not functioning properly. And so, you know, amen. Miss Luciano, you know what I'm saying? Um, Hopefully, I pray for your family that they're not headed to destruction, but may God's will be done according to his purpose and riches and glory. But, you know, we have to understand these things and function according to our purpose. And so, another example are trees again. Now, remember I said that, um, you know, good means functional. So through the Bible, you keep seeing trees being used, that a good tree produces good fruit, and a good tree can't produce bad fruit, and a bad tree can't produce good fruit. All right. So the thing is, in the winter, all the trees look the same, where there's no leaves or fruit. So once you start functioning, the fruit of your functions start getting examined. Once you start getting spring, you're like, oh, that's a plum tree. I thought it was going to be a cherry tree, but it's a plum tree. Oh, that's an apple tree. Oh, that's a lemon tree. When the heat rises because it was winter, and now it is warming up. So, and when the pressure's on or certain heated situations arise and your fruit starts showing, you're going to get examined and identified by your functionality. And then, according to what people know the purpose of fruit is, if your fruit doesn't measure up, people are like, hey, this is bad fruit. So, if a fig tree, like in the Bible, when Jesus went to go get fruit from the fig tree because it was supposed to produce fruit to feed the people that walked by it, and he went to it and it had no fruit, it was not being a good tree. It was not productive according to its purpose. And he demanded that it be pulled up and burned because it served no purpose. You either serve the right purpose or you have no purpose. That it is what it is. That's why I titled this, that, what is your life's purpose, or the purpose for your life, whatever I named it. It's one of those. But yeah, you have to understand what your purpose is so you can operate in it and be a good person, a functional person. Although we are wrapped in dysfunction, our flesh and our desires and thoughts a lot of times are opposite. Thank you, Tandon. Appreciate you for tuning in. Stay tuned. Please like and subscribe and share and all that. But yeah, so now another thing, what I touched on earlier, is that God sets up circumstances as opportunities for you to give him glory. So, like I used that mechanic example earlier. If I was a great mechanic and somebody's car broke down and they needed to go somewhere very important, now they can't continue. So that problem is an opportunity for me to glorify God. So when their car breaks down and then I function in my purpose and I use my intellect and gift God gave me to fix their car in a way that's mind blowing. And they're like, how did you do this? I couldn't fix it. The shop down the street couldn't fix it. How? Oh, God. God may have broke their car down just to get glory. He may have broke their car down to present an opportunity for me to use my favor and purpose to fix their car so they can say how and I can say God. So you ever seen alley oops in basketball where somebody pass it and the other person catch it and boom? That's what God does. He sets up glory alley oops for himself. He puts us in situations that will glorify him. And so these are just a couple of things I wanted to go over. Just kind of a little freestyle video. But this is just part one. It's kind of scattered all over the place with thoughts and ideas, but mainly we are all trees. We produce fruit. The fruit will be examined. The circumstances will arise to examine your functionality. If I'm on Facebook Marketplace and I'm trying to buy a washer and dryer, someone shows me one, I go check it out. I want to see it function. But don't turn on. Like, you know what? Nah, that's the purpose for me wanting a washer and dryer is to clean my clothes. And this is not going to clean my clothes because it doesn't turn on. So it's not fulfilling its purpose and therefore it's bad. And then I find one that does wash well, it does work, and then it cleans faster. I'm gonna be like, wow, that's a good washer and dryer. It functions according to its purpose. So I'm gonna just, leave you with that. And yeah, seeing your post, Andrea. I'll definitely keep your family in prayer. I'm not sure if it's Andrea or Andrea, but definitely, being the only one as a believer in your family can be very challenging. But it's an opportunity, not a problem. It's an opportunity for God to get the glory some kind of way. May look very not bright and may look very challenging and like there's no bright side of it, but God at the end of the day, he gets the glory and the say so, and he pans it out according to his purpose and will. So definitely I'll keep that in prayer. So but yeah, favoritesociety.com. Go check out the merch. I got merchandise on there. I also speak. If you want me to come out, shoot a message, DM or a comment. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, all these things. Um, I come speak and break these things down in a more elaborate way as well. But you definitely need to be on the right track and functioning. You know, purpose is everything. Definitely, it's literally everything. If you're outside of purpose, why? I cannot use a water bottle as a phone. It's not its purpose. It becomes nothing. Like, purpose matters a lot. If I try to use this as a phone, I'm gonna be here all day and get nowhere. It's pointless. That's why we have to have a point. And our point is our purpose. Like, what's the point of you being alive? To fulfill your purpose. What is your purpose? To glorify God. How do you find out how to function according to your purpose? That's where spending time with Him, fasting and praying. Fasting is from food only, not Instagram, electronics, or types of food. Fasting is not eating. There's two types of fasting: not eating and not drinking, or just not eating and just drinking water. All the other things are diets or just abstaining from things. I'm abstaining from social media. You're not fasting from social media. In the Bible, fasting is not eating, and you need to be before the Lord and empty yourself out so you can hear clearly, because the foods we eat today have a lot of preservatives and chemicals and things like that that get a reaction out of your nervous system, your brain, your blood cells. You get inflammation. All these things may affect how you function or how you hear God or what you think He said and what kind of revelation you thought you got or what kind of dream you thought you had, when really it was just a bunch of cholesterol and yellow number 5 and red number 40 and all these things in your blood and in your digestive system. So you gotta fast and get rid of the world, at least for a moment, and focus on God's purpose for you. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Again, favoriteSociety.com, Instagram, Skill the Lightmare, Facebook, Skill the Lightmare, TikTok, Skill the Lightmare. Please go play my song, Supercharged Favor. It's hashtag and then super, SUPER, charged, CHARGED, and favor, FAVOR. So supercharged favor, go give that a couple of plays, a couple of thousands or millions of plays. It does help. There's a lot of community things I want to do. And so go ahead and check those things out. Give a follow on the social medias, the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and check me out on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, all those things. I just appreciate the support. And please, I got shirts and hoodies and hats and mugs and pillows and things like that on favoriteSociety.com and on skillthelightmare.com. So please support that and rep the favor you have, in front of people. Have them inquire, like, yo, what does that shirt or hoodie mean? Oh, I'm glad you asked. And you get to explain God's favor to somebody that may need to hear it urgently at that moment, and that's your moment to share God's favor, that He protects and He preserves, so people can continue and that we're advantaged. So that's all. Tune in next time. I'll probably be on again. God bless you guys. Holler at me.